Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, may I have your attention, please? Are you ready to engage in a mind-blowing experience and hear talks about life, technology, entertainment, and business? The next episode of HIPTHER Talks starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good day, good morning, good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on another episode of HIPTHER Podcast. Today we're having with us Rares Luca, one of my older friends, and lately he's been involved in some really interesting projects. And but I'm not going to spoil the fun. I'm going to let him introduce himself and let us in a little bit more on this hackathon and medical innovation thing that he's doing. So welcome, Rares. Thank you for taking the time to join us. So without further ado, let us know who you are, what's your background, and what's this hype?
Hello, and thanks for having me. Well, I mean, there's not much to say about me. Like, I'm a first-year resident physician of infectious diseases. I just started working in the hospital as of almost a year ago. Wow, that passed by fast. And so, what else? I've started meddling with like eHealth and MedTech and health hackathons and such for the past like 6 months. And so here we are. Yeah. Before that, well, there's not really much to say. I grew up in a small town in Transylvania with Alex here. So yeah.
Okay, so before digging in the detailed side of the industry, what's the general trend and the general direction of technology and innovation in the medical field?
Well, now that's a big question. And so, well, as with everything, we should be trending upwards because like that's how progress happens. But I mean, the tendency, I wouldn't say it's much different from the past years. I mean, certainly it's somewhat better. There's more opportunities out there for people to come up with their own ideas and to contribute in their own way. Certainly, like in a country like ours, where we're still battling mentalities of the past, and so certainly it's getting better lately. But we're not even close to the big guys yet. Even if we're talking about Europe, so we're still, as a country, we're still behind that on everything that has to do with innovation and technology.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed a change in the trend pattern during the COVID and the whole pandemic situation?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, you see, the main thing is with technology and with like this is the side of telemedicine that I can dive into a bit. And so with telemedicine, we've seen some progress, especially because of the COVID limiting person-to-person interaction. We've started sort of migrating towards like using remote consultation systems or using all sorts of remote, all sorts of ways to deal with the fact that we cannot directly oversee patients. And so this was certainly a kick in the back, as in a huge jump forward for the system, for telemedicine as a whole. And so this opens a lot of doors for everything relating to medical technology, remote supervision, and everything else. And so definitely, I think we're seeing an upwards trend. And I mean, most of it has to do with like accepting technology, because like the medical field is really cynical when it comes to doing things in any new, different sort of way. So we like to stick to our old patterns.
Not but like the only one that that has the same feeling.
Sorry?
It's not the only field that has the same feeling.
Yeah.
Many industries are quite reluctant to the boost in technology that the COVID caused.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's sort of like the bright side is that being forced to use those technologies now in the pandemic sort of opened up space and gave some way for trust to be established in these technologies and some familiarization to occur with these technologies. And so they might be more easily accepted now.
Mm-hmm. So basically, except the obvious medical downsides of the COVID itself, But what you're trying to say is that the whole pandemic and crisis basically boosted up the openness towards technology by
unwillingly,
forcing everybody to embrace it. And what about now? I mean, the whole the critical time frame of the pandemic basically diminished. What about the whole momentum that the whole research and development zones took? Are the guys keeping it up, or they're just slowly getting back to the normal pace?
Well, that's a difficult estimation because I myself caught like the tail end of the pandemic as a hospital worker, and so ever since then we've seen a somewhat constant downward trend, like with the certain spikes, of course, but like a generally downward trend. And so anyways, like COVID, I wouldn't say COVID was the only promoter of like medical technology acceptance and lowering reluctancy towards innovation, but it certainly was a factor. And I think we're rolling off of that and we're still gliding off of that. But it's certainly not the only one. And people are starting to open their eyes related to like opportunities and what innovation means and how crucial it is to have innovation happening in our healthcare systems, because we are talking about like a pretty old-fashioned healthcare system that we still have in our country right now. But like, as with everything else, like public politics and like everything pertaining to the public healthcare system and any public system for that matter is a difficult talk to have, and progress is really hard to see and hard to get rolling.
Yeah. Now, do you see young doctors taking more of a tech approach in the industry? Is it growing like it should be?
Well, the tech industry, I wouldn't say it's certainly doing better than it used to, because you see with all these like gadgets that we see and all these the possibilities for using technology in our everyday lives is certainly getting more accessible. And so definitely people are starting to like turn their eyes towards, wait a minute, we can do something with this, and we can maybe get something off of that, and we can use this for this sort of thing as well. And so definitely there's openness to that. But like as a field, medical technology, I don't know, it sort of has a lot to do with entrepreneurship, and it sort of has a lot to do with like non-medical electronics or like the tech field. And so that's a whole another discussion. Like I don't really know what to say. It'll be good for people to be generally more open, but like I'm not sure what to say about that.
Going in the academic part, should MedTech be treated as a different study discipline, or should MedTech be treated itself as a whole different thing, like not being treated neither as a medical field nor a technology, but a standalone vertical?
I don't think it's a field in and of its own just yet. I think it's rather the meeting between the medical people and the technical people that should be the main focus there. So, well, I don't know. As a student, would I have loved to be taught about this field? Definitely yes. Would I have been enthusiastic about learning and maybe trying my luck in this field earlier? Hell yes, I would have been. Would I advocate for this? Definitely, yes. But it's more about facilitating the collaboration between the medical people and the people that have the technical know-how, programmers, engineers, product designers, and so on. So it might establish itself as a field, as a standalone field on its own in the future, and I'd sure be glad to see that happen. But what I'm seeing so far is it's more about the collaboration and like the meeting in the middle of its key components, of its key parts.
Mm-hmm. Now, sticking on the technology side, I've heard you mention it a couple of times. Because we're filming this podcast, I had to do a little bit of research, but let us know, what is a hackathon? What's this whole thing about? How is it taking place? Where is it taking place? When is it taking place?
Yeah, so hackathon is an umbrella term for like contests taking place pertaining to programming mainly, and so like you see these happen in like I don't know, programmer corporations, like I don't know, any sort of like field pertaining to like the programming. So it's just contests that are trying to solve problems that like people tend to have, or like either coders having problems with their code, or I don't know, even Facebook organized like a hackathon at some point. I don't remember the theme. And so like generally it's just a contest about like trying to solve some of the problems, or trying to find some new opportunities, or trying to find some new ideas that can be organized like by bigger entities, by smaller entities, by basically anyone. I've seen like internal hackathons happen. Like my colleagues are telling me about their internal hackathon that they're having this time of year. So yeah.
Basically, it's not like just a general contest on coding or on programming, but it's actually like a sandbox where you solve an actual existing problem.
It can go any myriad of ways. You can be given a specific problem, a specific coding problem to solve. We've seen, actually, where I'm coming from is like we've seen the hackathons start happening in the healthcare field. And so hackathons are now starting to branch out across fields. We're seeing, I don't know, I've seen like 3 hackathons pertaining to the healthcare field in Romania organized this year. And then there's bigger hackathons that are cross-domain, that have to do with everything from like medicine to business to marketing to basically any field that you can apply a code in to help it grow, make it better.
Okay. And how did you get involved in all this hackathon stuff?
Well, I've had my eye on this
hackathon,
yeah. So I've had my eye on this field for quite some time, and I've had the opportunity finally show up to me, I think at the beginning of this summer, around June or so, when I randomly stumbled across an ad, or like sort of an article describing a hackathon organized by, I'm gonna have to check this real quick, by some people at Yash. If you'll allow me just a quick second to look at the organizers, so as to not speak wrongly. And so I saw that this hackathon was happening, and I saw that they were opening registrations, and I thought, okay, well, let's go, let's do it. And what I saw special about this hackathon is that they accepted like standalone registration, so I could register on my own without needing to have a team to register together with, because these hackathons usually happen. You usually register alongside your whole team, and you already have an idea, and so that's how it usually goes. And so I signed up for this hackathon on my own, and I got match made into a team randomly, and that's how it all started, basically. But I've been eyeing this field for, I think, maybe 1 year back, a year and a half back, something along those lines. I was still a student. I was a 6th year student, and I saw somebody, I don't quite remember though. I'll come back to this. So there was this lecture about medical innovation, and that sounded fancy to me. And I said, okay, well, let's just check it out. Let's see what it's about, because it sounds amazing to me. And so I sat in on this like 20-something guy talking about how he managed to become a CEO of a startup of his, and he's doing his own app and everything. And I said, wow, well, that's just incredible. And I was a 6th year student in med school. Like my biggest plan going forward was to like have my residency exam and like start my residency and just figure out my own stuff, and like none of this. And so this guy started talking about innovation in medicine, and this guy started talking about how we can apply, I don't know, apps, how we can apply technology to like make everyone's lives better. And I thought, okay, how does this happen? And so I started like Googling into this stuff, and I started coming across hackathons, and I even like registered as a guest for a couple of hackathons. So without a team, not as a non-participant. And so this all went on until I finally decided to register as a participant in this hackathon at the start of June. Sorry, actually. And so that's how we get here.
And I know that right now you're a part of the team. Is this the team that you were randomly assigned to when you first started it, or is it something?
Here's the funny story. Okay, so I signed up to this hackathon. It's called H3 Healthcare. Hackathon. Wait a second. Healthcare in Hospitals Hackathon. Finally, okay. Healthcare in Hospitals Hackathon. It is organized by the people over in Yash. And so that's where it all started. We all sign up. I get match made into this team, and we start working. So this starts on Friday. This hackathon was an online hackathon, so we were each at his own home, and it started on Fridays. The final pitch deadline was on Sunday, and so basically we had 2 days and 2 nights to basically come up with an idea, try to implement as much of it as we can technically, and try to convince a jury that we deserve a prize, which back, if I remember correctly, it was about 1,500 euros. Yeah, 1,500 euro. Yeah, 1,500 euros, exactly. And so convince a jury to give us 1,500 euros for our idea. That was basically it. And so we start working on Fridays, and we get along like off the bat, we get along so well. We start brainstorming. We come up with this idea of an app that I'm going to talk about a bit later. And so everything went so smoothly, and we got along so well, and everything worked so well together that we managed on Sunday to grab the big prize. And so on the Sunday pitches, we managed to snatch that 1,500 euro prize right off their noses in like 2 days and 2 nights worth of work with people I had never seen before in my life, through the screen of my laptop that I'm talking to you now.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome. And what was the project about?
We are planning to end physical paper printed medical documents. So basically, yeah, basically our app is trying to digitalize any sort of medical document that you have on hand. And we're working with multiple machine learning algorithms for that. And it's still very much in development, and we'll see where it goes. But like the main gist of it is you basically grab your phone, you photograph the medical papers that you have, and like the picture of that document gets run through a couple of machine learning algorithms that pick up on the entities that they detect in the medical document, and they recognize them, and then they transfer them to an electronic database, a personal electronic database that you have stored on your phone. And so basically every information from that medical papers gets transferred into a database that you can then access from your phone in the app. Mm-hmm. And so the most important part of everything is that you can give access to this medical file, medical record, if you want. You can give access to any doctor you want, like through a unique link. He can access it for a limited period of time, and he can see basically all of your medical records that you have introduced in this app.
That would save up a lot of time and frustration.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Here's to hoping.
Yeah. So, do you see this project of yours? Speaking of, have you thought of a name for this app, or?
We're playing with a couple different ideas, but one name we've been rolling with, and that we really like the sound of, is Healthbox. Hopefully, we won't have many problems with infringement on this, but we think it's like a pretty cool name, and we have a visual identity and everything. Mm-hmm. So we hope to be able to roll with that.
So do you see this project implemented only for personal use, or do you plan on scaling up to like a general public healthcare system support app or anything like that?
See, the thing is, whenever you're dealing with the public healthcare system, you're dealing with laws, and you're dealing with like state budgets, and you're dealing with everything. Those are a couple of things that a literal bunch of people have to sign off on. And so we're thinking about this app creating like a level field that you can grab basically any sort of medical paper, regardless if it comes from the public healthcare system. So if you've been to a doctor or you've been admitted to a hospital and you have like a medical document for that, or you go have some lab tests done and you have the lab tests on paper. Regardless of anything, the common denominator of everything is like the paper, the mm-hmm. medical paper, the medical physical paper. And so starting off of that, we can make this collaborate with anything. So the doctor can access it, be it a private healthcare doctor or like a public healthcare doctor, or like even your dentist can access your medical record if you give him the link too. But this should hold no sort of boundaries whatsoever. So we're not thinking to integrate this directly into the healthcare system, but we are certainly thinking about it as a sort of collaboration, as a sort of side product, a side. I'm missing the word here. Sort of an auxiliary, auxiliary. Not gadget, but like, anyways.
A tool.
Yeah, exactly. A tool. Thank you. Yes. An auxiliary tool that any doctor can use, regardless if he works in the public hospitals or in the private hospitals or wherever he may work.
Well, it's really an ambitious project, but a really beautiful one that I personally really like what I'm hearing, and I am hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So from now on, I should address you as doctor and hopefully future CEO of Healthbox.
Yeah, we're in the works of that. This is actually an inside joke that I'm basically going to be the CEO of this startup when we get it established.
Okay, so
the guys are all, Mr. CEO. No, you're a CEO now. You can't have that happen, or you can't do that, or you can't look like that because you're now a CEO.
So I really wish for the best in this whole entrepreneurship road that you're dealing with. And now I would like you to how to put this nicely. I would like you to share with us like a closing statement, or maybe some advice for young doctors, for young doctors that are passionate about tech, or for young programmers that are passionate about the health industry.
Okay, well, so this is going to be a huge cliche, but thinking back to myself, when I first heard about medical innovation and I saw that guy talk about medical innovation, medical technology, and eHealth, and it was blowing my mind, and this is so incredible. I am never going to be able to do anything remotely close to this. To now fast forwarding to the moment that I'm figuring out how to start an actual startup and how to get it rolling. And so this is basically something I never could have seen happen. And so that's the most cliche advice that I can give, is to just go for your dreams and go for what you think is impossible, and see where that lands you, because you might be amazed. But if we're to think about some more applied hands-on advice to, I don't know, young doctors or even medical students looking to start off in this field of medical technology and medical innovation, medical entrepreneurship, is, I don't know, first of all, look up some entrepreneurship societies, entrepreneurship associations. There's a bunch of that spread across the country. Basically, every university has to have one. That's a very good place to start. I wish I'd have thought of that sooner. I wish I'd have joined one sooner, because I didn't as a student. And the next step is look for hackathons. Look for hackathons that you can register into alone, maybe get match made into a team, and have a go at it with your own idea. And like you just learn by doing. It's almost, I don't know, you learn to be Batman as you're being Batman. Nobody teaches you how to be Batman from the start.
That's true. So thank you very much, Rares, for taking the time and for letting us in on this whole mixture of some pretty big domains, the tech and medical field. Wishing you the best of luck with the startup, and thank you to our audience. No matter the platform you tuned in, we do thank you for taking the time to stay with us, and see you next week.
Thank you for joining. Be sure to check back next week for the next HIPTHER Talks, and subscribe on Amazon Music, Overcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Pandora.